Temperatures reach up to 32. Southeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again. Tonight, a mixture of precipitation likely. Lows dip down to about 29. A dusting of snow today with another inch tomorrow night. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Currently 17.
Hear Clinton Maroon live play-by-play this season on WHOW, the Big 1520 daytime, 92.3 FM in DeWitt County and 106.5 in Bloomington Normal all the time. Plus streamed at DeWittDailyNews.com on the WHOW mobile app and Amazon Alexa. Plus, hear a best of Clinton sports broadcast Saturday mornings at 10, all brought to you by Warner Hospital and Health Services, Bob Chevrolet Buick, Love It Once More Thrift Store, and Mid-State Eye.
This is Seth Lawrence, News and Program Director for WHOW and WEZC. We take pride in being Clinton and Central Illinois' local radio stations each and every day, 7 days a week. What does local news mean? Here's a sample.
Save-A-Lot turned a truck around within 6 hours and got us a full semi-load of water, which is about 34,000 bottles of water, and that was gone by Tuesday.
And what we've seen is a 24 and some change percent increase in both theft and burglary. Combine those together and you're looking at a 50% increase in property crime.
We've got a trailer, we have 2 vans. Let's explore if we can get mass quantities of water to the community.
You hear the local people that make the news every day, 7 days a week on the Big 1520 AM, 92.3 FM, and 106.5 FM WHOW, and on your easy choice for soft hits, 95.9 FM WEZC.
SIU Family Medicine wants the best health for you and your family. Be a champion. Protect your loved ones. The SIU Center for Family Medicine of Lincoln is accepting new patients. Click their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com to schedule your appointment.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Mr. Adam Ibbotson is the superintendent of Maroa-Forsyth Schools in studio with us today. And good to see you, Mr. Ibbotson. You doing all right? Yeah, thanks for coming out and talking with us. And, boy, I tell you what, I can't believe we are almost to March.
Yeah.
In year one for you. It has flown by. How are things going? You doing all right?
Yeah, in month number 8, which is pretty crazy. And we're through the midterm of the third quarter already. And thinking about where we're at, wrapping up, a lot of our winter sports and winter activities are kind of coming to a close. The girls' basketball team had their last regular season game last night. They host the regional next week at Maroa-Forsyth. They've had a great season this year. Basketball's in full go, conference action, moving forward that. Before you know it, that'll be finished up. Even some of our other activities in sports, our Trojanettes are going to the state dance competition, which is awesome. We have an academic team that qualified for sectionals down at Eastern, which is happening. And then we've already got open gyms and things happening, indoor tracks happening, baseball and softball open gyms are happening. So that transition to the spring sports will really kind of be here before you know it.
Who's your baseball coach this year?
Sean Martin. This is his last year.
Oh, it's his last year? I thought last year was his last year.
Nope. Sean this is in his last year of being the head coach. So this is kind of his farewell tour. And Sean has done a tremendous job with our baseball program. He teaches PE at our grade school. Had a lot of success, couple state finals, Final Four berths here, runner-up a year ago, and he does a great job with the program. So we're we're actually conducting interviews and things, getting ready to try to find that successor to keep that tradition up in that program that's been so strong.
Yeah, high school baseball, that's one that kind of sometimes slides under the radar just because it ends so, it typically ends after school is out, so you don't really get that, community, jazz and the school behind it. But, Maroa's had a lot of success on the baseball field, like you said. So, anyways, we'll look forward to seeing Coach Martin on the field for one last time this year.
Sure.
Anything else this winter going on, Mr. Ibbotson?
So thinking about, one thing I wanted to highlight is our Hall of Fame banquet and benefit that usually happens around March. So there's a committee that's made up of teachers, administrators, members of our foundation that look through and receive nominations in for the Hall of Fame. And it's not just an athletic Hall of Fame. It's a Hall of Fame, and it looks at accomplishments of Maroa-Forsyth graduates or people who have worked for Maroa-Forsyth who have made a contribution to the school that's really above and beyond. And there's a voting process and how things work. It's kind of like the Baseball Hall of Fame, where there's a certain percentage you got to get to be able to get in.
Oh, okay.
So they do a great job of not honoring just only outstanding sports teams, but also people that have had significant impacts academically, that have had impacts in the classroom as teachers, and also sports individuals and teams. And that event is happening on March the 8th out at the Decatur Conference Center. Doors will open at 5. There'll be a silent auction that's there, and then also at 6:50 dinner will be served, and that will be throughout the evening. We'll have welcoming and introductions of the Hall of Fame members. They'll be able to talk and share a few remarks, and then we'll have a live auction at the end. It also works as a fundraiser for our foundation. Tina Horvey helps run our foundation. We have a great board of people that are a part of it that are looking to support kids. They support classroom grants. They support things for teachers. They also support scholarships, which think you have the spring season. Application deadlines are out there for scholarships for seniors. Those awards nights will be rolling around.
Yeah.
Our foundation does a great job of helping to generate money for our kids to help see them in opportunities, not only just college, but other pieces after school. So not only are we recognizing academic excellence, athletic excellence, excellence in our classrooms, but we're also trying to raise money to help that next generation.
So kind of two entities coming together
It really is.
in your district.
And I think it's interesting in a misconception that this is just an athletic Hall of Fame. It's more than that. I think each year that it happens and people see the people that are going in, the next time that I meet with you, I'd like to kind of go over some of those people and chat with some of their contributions. The thing that amazes me about Maroa-Forsyth is how passionate the alumni base is. The number of people who may not live here, but that are passionate about their school, they appreciate the values, they appreciate the work ethic, they appreciate the opportunities, they want to give back. And Tina and the board do a great job of coordinating all that together. And that Hall of Fame banquet and benefit really goes a long way to helping us with raising funds so we can really influence the next generation of Trojans.
And that was something that was started, 2-3 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, but kind of hit some bumps. They're trying to get it off the ground around the COVID time. And, of course, things kind of hit some challenges there, but I attended my first one last year before I was superintendent and just really impressed with the community involvement and the number of people there, and we're looking forward to it growing. I would encourage anybody who's interested from Maroa-Forsyth to go onto our school website, mfschools.net. One of the first banners you see on there gets you to the Hall of Fame dinner and banquet, so you can see that and get your tickets.
All right, so get the tickets for that. That comes up in just a few short weeks.
Yeah, it's happening here fast.
Yeah, it is, for sure. Yeah, well, next time we talk, we'll probably be right after that, actually.
We will be.
Yeah, so great. Yeah, let's talk
there
about.
might be some good timing of all that and how the event went.
I like it. Well thought out. Let's do that. It sounds good to me. Anything else on that event? Just that process that plays out?
It's we start back in the fall, and you have to submit online applications or nomination forms for people to be considered. And then once people are kind of screened out through those applications through the committee, then it goes out to all the members. So if you're in the Hall of Fame, you get an opportunity to help vote along the way.
Wow, cool.
So kind of like the Baseball Hall of Fame, where you got to get a certain percentage of all the votes to be able to get in there. Mr. Appleby does a great job of helping to organize that as our athletic director and activities director, along with our foundation. So once that process goes out, we usually announce who the candidates are in the fall and then hope to invite people back. So some people are traveling from out of state, come back to town and be a part of it. It's just a really nice celebration of all things at Maroa-Forsyth.
Fantastic. Well, that's awesome. So March 8th, that comes up. Be a part of that. I know that is really, just like you said, taken off. And Mr. Appleby was really excited. I remember talking to him when he first announced that. He was just so excited about it. So it sounds like it's gone really well.
Yeah, it really has. And, the other part about it, thinking about moving into the spring, we've got our musical coming up. If you've not been to a Maroa-Forsyth musical, you're missing out. It's amazing the level of production that Mr. Weisenborn puts together. This year they're doing Newsies on April 11th through the 13th in that weekend. I went to Chicago last year, and I was blown away. The facility that's there with the theater and the stage, the quality of the production from the dancing to the singing to the sets, it's really an all hands on deck effort. It's a really great production. So I would encourage people to look at that.
Wasn't your auditorium redone recently?
It was built as part of the construction program with the middle school. When they built the middle school, they built the auditorium at the same time. That was a part of that construction piece.
Okay, nice.
So that's a great place to showcase our kids' talent. Again, opportunities for kids, fine arts wise, academic wise, and athletic wise, and that musical is a really great opportunity to do that. They do a fall one with the junior high, middle school, and then the high school in the spring. They do a trip from there as well.
Yeah, forgive me, I cut you off when you were going to give us that date.
Yeah, so April the 11th through the 13th. April 11th through 13th will be that production.
All right, very good. So check that out. That's good stuff. Excellent. Again, Adam Ibbotson is the superintendent of Maroa-Forsyth Schools, our guest in studio for today. Anything else coming up on the winter calendar? Things going on? I know you mentioned sports postseason already here. What else is going on?
Board calendar-wise, board meetings on Monday night, working through that in February, and it's crazy that we're starting to do high school registration for next year. So that's happening here now. We have our state testing that we have to get into here. I'll be sharing more about that in future meetings here or visits with you, but the IAR testing that's happening in our grades 3 through 8, and then the ACT is back. We were at the SAT for several years, and now the ACT is back for our high school kids, 9, 10, and 11, and we are ramping up for all of those tests, starting the registration process for those and getting all that in place. Our juniors are in test prep mode right now, accessing some of those materials, and we'll really kind of double down on that here. At the end of our day, we have a focused learning period at the high school that we devote towards helping some of that prep as we get closer to time.
Gotcha.
That's all coming up before we know it here in the spring, here in March and April. We'll see those two windows for the IAR and then the ACT.
Anything your board's going to be doing Monday night we're talking about?
We're looking at some potential projects down the way. We're going to launch into strategic planning next year to think about the next kind of 5-year iteration about where Maroa-Forsyth wants to go. We're going to be looking at some of those things with facilities, about what that looks like. It's hard to believe the high school is 20 years old, so we're going to launch. We're going to look to do an architect to do the health life safety survey and look at a facilities master plan. We have so many activities in sports that we're looking for. We're also looking at purchasing another activity bus to be able to shuttle people back and forth. We have co-ops with Warrensburg Latham. We have our spring sports coming up, and it's challenging, I think, sometimes to get everybody. When you offer a lot of activities, you got to get them to those places. So we're looking at that. The board's going to look at that on Monday night. And then just our usual business on the Monday night board meeting.
Gotcha, very good. Any recognition visitors you'll have or anything?
We're going to
like
recognize our all-state band and choir people. They recently participated in the ILMEA State Festival, which was in Peoria. I got the chance to go and attend that, and Mrs. Leidy and Mr. Weisenborn do a great job in our music program. We had a middle school all-state student, and we had 2 band all-staters and also a choir all-stater at the high school. Cool. So we'll be recognizing those kids on Monday night. And then on March, we're going to recognize Eagle Scouts. Such a big accomplishment to go through the Eagle Scout program. While it's not a direct school sponsor piece, I think that community involvement that happens with the Eagle Scouts, we're going to recognize Eagle Scouts in the district in our March board meeting as well.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Any presentations or anything Monday night?
Nope, just normal business and then recognition of those students and then moving forward from there.
How long are your board meetings usually?
It depends.
Okay.
I would say a typical board meeting for us, we start at 6:30. I would say between an hour and an hour and a half pretty well catches the majority of them, 6:30 to 8. Sometimes, depending on if we've got a levy hearing or we have something else to deal with, sometimes it may go a little bit longer, but usually an hour to an hour and a half pretty well catches most of the meetings.
There you go. That's good stuff. Excellent. Well, Mr. Ibbotson, let's break here, my friend. Come back with some more. Yep.
Thanks,
Mr. Adam Ibbotson is the superintendent of Maroa-Forsyth Schools in studio with us. More to come with him on The Morning Show.
WHOW.
Today. Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and wheat higher at this hour. March corn up 5.5, $4.99. May corn up a nickel, $5.11. New crop December, $4.74 and a quarter, up 1.5. March beans up 16, $10.46. May beans up 14.5, $10.61.5. And new crop November, $10.56 and a quarter, up 11. March Chicago wheat 5.97 and a quarter, up 19.5. May wheat up 19.611. March bean meal 299.70. That's up 6.90. March bean oil down 22 cents, 46.03. Livestock market, March feeders 267.17, down 80 cents. February live cattle down 55 cents, 199 even. February lean hogs up 32 cents, 89.70. Energy market, March crude oil 71.20. Down 8 cents. Looking at the markets on this Friday morning, I'm Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network.
Here's owner Dave Jackson from your Clinton Save-A-Lot on Inflation 2024.
All the big chains have fattened their margins tremendously, increasing their margins and piling on. That's one thing I don't do, is I do not pile on to a serious situation and go, well, I can get away with increasing things even more because the customer won't notice.
Despite inflation, you'll still save up to 40% on your food bill every day at your Clinton Save-A-Lot. And as Dave always says,
hope to see you soon.
Are you wanting to learn more about your health and wellness options in Central Illinois? Visit stealthwellness.com or click on my banner ad at DeWittDailyNews.com. Let me, Dr. Bill Byers, show you some simple, under-the-radar ways to improve and take control of your health.
Hi, I'm Brett with Central Cremation Center, and we proudly serve all of Central Illinois. We offer the most affordable and convenient arrangements in the area with plans starting at just $795. Many of our plans are available by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Mr. Adam Ibbotson is the superintendent of Maroa-Forsyth Schools, my guest in studio today. And Mr. Ibbotson, I know that this is probably going to become more prominent conversation, particularly as we start to look to the next school year, but Maroa-Forsyth looking for some teaching positions. What's open? What are you looking for?
Yeah, thinking about registration, thinking about the plans for next year. At our last administrator meeting, we were talking about when online registration would open up. So that's pretty crazy to think about. And as we get ready for next year, we do have some positions that are currently open that we're seeking applications for. One of those is a special education teacher at the high school. We're looking for someone to step into that role. 9 through 12 there, working with our special education team. There's an application that's online that can be filled out to go through that process on that job posting. You can access that job posting off of our website, mfschools.net. There's an employment ribbon at the top, and you can click on that and see the job posting. You can also access it through the Illinois Association of Superintendents site, IASA, as a job posting as well. And then you can also find it off of our social media pieces as well.
What's the challenge in hiring those positions?
There's a teacher scarcity. There's a limit to that. There's the pool of teachers in 2025 is not what it was when I started teaching in 2000. I remember when I was an elementary school principal at Sherman, I would hear stories that there would be 70 and 80 applicants for an elementary job. And I think the last job I had applied at Sherman had 4 applicants. And Williamsville and Maroa-Forsyth are great districts to be at, and it's a struggle to get applicants to apply. And I think it's a broad variety of reasons of why it's a challenge. I think some of it is with the pension system, with Tier 1 and Tier 2 employees. Tier 1 employees, if you started from a certain age, there's a retirement window that's, could be in the mid-50s, early 60s, depending on years of service and age and circumstances. If you started after that date, you're teaching much longer. That used to be an incentive for people to work and teach, and they could retire early and oftentimes take other careers or other pieces. That's a challenge, I think, for younger teachers. I think pay, is a factor. They can work in public industry. It's not just teaching that's having a squeeze in the job market. Everyone is looking for help. It doesn't matter if it's education or not. I think there's other opportunities for people to seek out to as well. And I think it's just a challenging climate right now. I think trying to get young people, the days of someone going to Illinois State that went to school from the suburbs and staying downstate, That doesn't happen a lot anymore. A lot of times they're going to go back to the suburbs and make more money or whatever else that looks like. So I think there's a variety of challenges that get there, and I think I got into teaching. I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to be able to influence kids. I wanted to be able to coach. I wanted to be able to have that impact. I didn't get into to get rich or make money and all those types of things. That wasn't a big concern of it, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that retirement piece was not a factor for me. Like, hey, I could teach till I'm 55 or 60 and kind of go from there. I do think the Tier 2 pension system, there's debate in the state legislature now about the Social Security safe harbor, about whether the Tier 2 will violate that along the way, and there's discussion at this legislative session that they'll talk about it. I think that pension reform could be possible from there. I also think from school district side, not just the money-wise, but the other benefits that go with it. A quality school district, a supportive environment, a place where we're trying to mentor, recognizing some of those other benefits that are not dollars and cents, but the benefits of being in education along the way. I think that's what we've got to do a better job of selling. And I think that's where, in terms of attracting, getting those people to take interest in us.
So I'm curious, and if you don't want to answer this, that's fine. I was just sitting there thinking as you were talking, I've had so many people in different areas why there's a struggle for workers and workers in general. I know the trades, like they really are they're gonna be in a tough spot very soon because there's not enough people going into that stuff. You talk about educators. Where are young people going? You've been in education long enough. You've probably followed several kids that have gone through your schools now.
Yeah.
Where are they going? What are they doing that they're not pursuing these things? Is there something else they're drawn to that they're turning to in their adult lives?
I think when there is a wage discrepancy or there's an opportunity to work in the private sector, if there's a private sector job versus public, I don't know as if, and this is my opinion, I don't know as if people really look at the benefits of the teaching parts of the summers, the TRS pension piece. They're looking at that dollar and cents and see that I could make more money working for another entity. So if I've got a background, I know the state of Illinois is hiring people. They're advertising for people. Well, if you can get a state job with those benefits, that maybe make more sense for me, even if the money's close. Well, I'm going to take it if it's a little bit more money. I think some of those private sector places have had to up the ante, so to say, to try to attract people, and we're missing out on some of them in education. Mm-hmm. I also think in terms of just workers in general, I don't know as if we fully understand the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and about that move and how all life stopped for a while. And about kind of what happened in terms of the workforce then, about what that all looks like. I think it's complicated. I think wages, are part of it. I think benefits are part of it. I think part of it is people are looking for meaning and passion for things, and they're looking to find a place where they feel connected. And I think jobs and employers have to evolve with that and to find places for reasons to be employed that's more than just, here's the salary and benefit package. Why do I want to be here to do that? And I think a lot of younger people are searching for that. Mm-hmm. I've got a junior in college. She's got a teaching degree. She's also getting a minor in human relations. She might do HR. I said, why are you going to look at HR? She's like, I just want to have opportunities about where I'm going to make the most impact. Mm. So I think younger people are thinking about that. My high school senior, he wants to be a history teacher. He wants to be like his history teacher at Williamsville. Why do you want to do that? Because I want to make an impact. Well, that's where we want to draw people in for that impact part. So I think it's multifaceted. If I knew the answer to that, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be on some commission somewhere about solving the employment crisis. But those are just a few of my thoughts.
Yeah, I appreciate you weighing in on that. I had never gotten the education side of that, or I'd never questioned the education side of that, and I thought I'd throw that to you. Let's wrap up, Mr. Ibbotson, very quickly. I know you want to highlight your school resource officers.
Yeah, even before I get to that, we have another position of a school social worker / counselor for our middle school and grade school, talking about COVID-19, the mental health pieces, and how we work with kids at younger and younger ages. We're looking for a dynamic person to work there, and you can apply for that as well.
And we ought to talk about that sometime, too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
So SROs. So Saturday is National School Resource Officer Day, and I wanted to highlight our two SROs, Chrissy Garcia and Paul Cooper. So they are officers at the city of Maroa, and we are looking at an agreement. We're actually going to sign an agreement on Monday night to finalize our intergovernmental agreement between Maroa and the district. We have 2 full-time SROs, one at the Forsyth campus and one at the Maroa campus. They do a great job of keeping our kids safe, our staff safe, building checks, door checks, monitoring students, walking around, being present. They're a part of our faculty. Even though they're a City of Maroa employee, we work with them and treat them as our own. It is so comforting to know when we've had situations or we know something's happening, to know that we have an officer in both campuses to keep people safe. Not only do we have them, but they're awesome. They're great with kids. They're very personal. They work with our administration. Chief Fitzgerald's been a great resource at the City of Maroa. He is such a partner with us, and this has been facilitated with our Board of Education. They value security and safety, and we're going to keep kids safe. And having those SROs, I just wanted to say thank you to them and all that they do. Shout out to the City of Maroa for helping us out and working through this agreement. Chief Fitzgerald, Mayor Wilkie, Ted Agee, City Administrator, they've been great to work with, and just want to appreciate our SROs.
Very good. Well, Mr. Ibbotson, always good to see you, my friend. Thanks for making time for us. Adam Ibbotson is the superintendent of Maroa-Forsyth Schools.
WHOW.